Hello and welcome to the Warhammer Meta Chasers. My name is Paul, your host. I'm joined by Dustin Henshaw
Hello, everybody.
and Adam Camilleri.
G'day.
This is your weekly tournament rundown show where we talk about the biggest and best events for Warhammer 40,000 coming up over the weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Brand new meta, Pariah Nexus, what's winning, what's dominating. We're going to tell you at least what people are taking, what people are anticipating of two great events this weekend. And we have the FLG Lone Star Open and the Baltic Cup 12 we're going to be covering. And that is in Germany and Lone Star, which you can imagine. Anyone want to take a guess? Anybody? The international panel here assembled.
It's in Alabama,
guess?
Right?
Washington.
Mississippi.
Washington.
That's where Paul is.
I do like it that you are just naming places you know that exist in the United States.
We know these exist.
No, I was giving you all a little bit of grief, and but this is in Texas, the Lone Star Open, so it's going to be cool to talk about that. So that is an area that is just absolutely brimming with 40K players.
Yeah.
How are y'all doing this evening?
I'm stupendous, mate. I am really hyped for the fact that in just 3 events this weekend, we will have like near 800 players playing, and the data up from Pariah Nexus coming out of that, and the meta that will be brewing in this charge towards the World Team Championships in a couple of weeks will be absolutely spectacular.
This meta that we're in right now is actually fantastic. So I love each and every one of these tournaments that we're seeing right now because you do not know. You just
I'm not
going to
say
who's going to top it.
I'm not going to call it yet. But in a couple of months, we might look back and see this right now and the next couple of months as being the best 40K people may have ever played.
Competitively speaking.
As for the state of the game,
Yeah.
It is absurdly gorgeous out there.
Yeah.
That is awesome to hear. As you know, we actually do this live each and every week. So we have a live chat community. If you are listening to us after the fact on the podcast aggregators, please feel free to come and hang out with us live. You have some great people to hang out with, in addition to hearing us talk about it as it's unfolding right now. So look, if you're listening to us after the fact, we certainly appreciate that. But again, live each and every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Come join us if you are so inclined.
Well, Paul, you may be live from a different location rather than the beautiful, state of Georgia. Where might you be hailing from right now? What might you be
This
doing?
is not my normal location, as you might be able to tell if you're watching this on video. Yes, I am in Tacoma, Washington. This is for the Games Workshop US Open Series event, where there's going to be over 400 players battling it out for supremacy here. 40K players. There's also a brand new Age of Sigmar event with the Skaven Tide and in the new edition on full effect here. We've got all kind of narrative events. It's amazing. So tune in for coverage. Actually, if you want to tune in for coverage of the event, check us out on the Games Workshop Twitch page, where we'll be streaming some live Warhammer 40,000 coverage over the course of the weekend. If you're tuning in, of course, say what's up. Say, hey, you heard about it here on this show, and let us know if you're going to be doing something like painting, playing, whatever, hanging out. Can't wait.
I'm throwing the gauntlet down. Someone, and of course, do not be rude, obnoxious, offensive in any way, but try and say something in chat that will make Paul crack.
Oh.
Do it. Like, by all means, don't insult anybody. Don't go against any terms of being in said chat, and don't be anything like that. But if you can make Paul crack, I will give you a prize. I don't know what that prize is. I'll work it out depending on how much you make him crack. I would say make Nick crack, but that's not hard.
But check us out. So actually, let's go ahead and jump into it. I know we're a little bit outside of schedule today, so I mentioned we would do this at 9 p.m. Eastern time. That is most weeks is 9 p.m. Eastern time. We got started a little bit late today, but of course, if you're listening to it after the fact, you don't know that. But I just told on us.
You tattled.
Yeah, I did. It's okay. But I want to also point out that we do it every week. So come hang out with us. First event we're going to be talking about is the Baltic Cup 12. This is in Altenholz, Germany. Sorry, Altenholz? Holtz?
I think
Germany.
I don't think you can say it without a German accent. It won't sound right.
Altenholz.
Yeah, we'll take it.
If we got anywhere in the ballpark, let us know. This is the Baltic Cup 12, so I assume they've done 11 of these previous.
Are you Googling it right now, Adam?
110 players, 5-round event. This is a golden ticket qualifier, meaning that the winner of this event will get an invitation to come to the World Championships of Warhammer later on this year. And if you saw it last year, it's going to be spectacular. And a lot of events are now starting to, a lot of players are going to be competing for their spots to represent themselves and their countries. Last year, we had over 46 countries in attendance. How many are going to be there this year?
45.
What is going to be there this year?
That's the other thing too. But for
Yeah.
this event, we're going to see the faction breakdown as 4 Sisters of Battle, 1 Custode, 3 Admech, 7 Astra Militarum, 5 Grey Knights, 5 Imperial Knights, Space Marines, there's 5 Astartes, 7 Dark Angels, 3 Space Wolves, 4 Blood Angels, 2 Death Watch, and 1 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 5 Chaos Space Marines, 3 T-Suns, 4 Death Guard, 2 World Eaters, 6 Demons, and 5 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there are 5 Necrons, 4 Orcs, 7 Tau, 2 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 5 Tyranids and 2 Gs that are called. The Germans are bringing out the GSC. I love it. Eldari,
That's twice as many as normal.
It's 100% increase.
Way more than normal. Eldari, there's 4 Drukhari and 4 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Tau, Dark Angels, and Astra Militarum tied in the top spot with 7. Demons close behind them with 6, and then Grey Knights, Imperial Knights, Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Knights, Krons, and Tyranids tied in 3rd. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Anybody's game.
Well done. Well done, Germany.
Just beautiful.
You're paving the way for faction podiums. Absolutely stupendous. But yeah, to your point, it is anybody's game. It is so wide. And we have had parts of just this edition, but 10th edition, where it would just be Eldar GSC and some random, Eldar GSC and someone, Eldar GSC and someone. And that was the tale for pretty much the first 3 months of this edition. And now we get to have this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so good.
We've come so far.
Good,
We've come so far.
We really have. And yeah, pointed out by K. Quinn in the Custodes are the new, they may be the new GSC. Single Custodian.
There's more GSC than Custodes. Oh, get wrecked.
There's double, mate.
Wrecked.
Wild. Of course, Europe and especially the German region are very high on their Grey Knights and Imperial Knights. In addition, very strong showing for Astra Militarum, which is a bit of a surprise, seeing as a lot of people have assumed they're going to be on the decline. But those lists are looking pretty savage. Unfortunately, do not have one of those to unpack for you.
Can I pause you for just 1 second though, because we do go talk about an Astra Militarum list in our last week's part 2 show, which is only available to Patreon subscribers, where we talk about someone who's taken a different Astra Militarum list, and the Astra Militarum, we talked about just how many, the stack of index cards you can use is what, tell me where to stop.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
It's massive, and so I think it's difficult to try to figure out how to boil it down into what that competitive list is. And so when the meta changes even a little bit, you can go and reinvestigate some of those. Some Astra Militarum players are actually shooting for the stars.
So it's almost like Astra Militarum players convinced themselves that they couldn't use one of their legs, and they needed this giant crutch to get around that was called indirect.
Indirect fire.
And then G-Dub came in and kicked that freaking crutch out from under people. They're like, my legs work. Oh my God.
I can actually walk. This is crazy.
I can walk because there are so many playable units in that. They're not necessarily as good as what you've lost, but the fact is the breadth of that index that is valuable and can bring points to a game and or can be deadly, Tempestus Scions, is actually really deep. Really deep. When you look at people like Dark Angels, Blood Angels players, they essentially have 5 powerhouse units in their army. A couple of units of Death Company, a couple of units of Vanguard vets, a couple of units of Assault Intercessors with associated characters. Tell me when to your same joke. Tell me when to stop with the amount of power units you can get into the Astra Militarum list. I've played a couple of games with 30 Kassakin and 45 Scions. 6 power units, and that's not to count the Lehman Russes, the Dawns, and the Rough Riders, and the rest.
Oh, the combos you can do with Guard, it's unlimited. People have not figured them all out yet.
So I think that's why we're seeing him at the top of this faction chart. But I know you pulled out an Adeptus Mechanicus list to run down, because that is a faction that has been largely on the shelf for a lot of players, but I think it's starting to see a reemergence in the last couple of weeks.
And admittedly, we are giving Adeptus Mechanicus a little bit more of the limelight at the moment, because they literally have had none for 4 years. So forgive me when I see a top player like this gentleman like Manuel is, who played for the WTC last year for Team Germany, and he's taking Adeptus Mechanicus. I'm gonna tell you guys all about that. I cannot pronounce his last name. Dustin, please do the honors.
Oh geez.
Manuel Weiskorek.
No, it's Vizorek.
Yeah, it's a Vizorek.
Yeah, W's in German are V's.
Yeah.
V's. Okay. Adeptus Mechanicus, Radzone core. So not the Skitarii Hunter cohort, which is cool. I do think the Radzone has some really nice tech as well.
This messes you up, right? As they get closer?
Oh, no. If they stay away. It's the
okay.
Yeah, it's the one in their deployment zone. They're going to get bombed and stuff. for freebies. He's got Belisarius Call, who I'm glad to say is as good as he always should have been, and is now bordering an auto include for the majority of lists. A Dominus with Peerless Eradicator, a Manipulus with Autoclavic Denunciator, and Techno Archaeologist, 10 Rangers, 10 Vanguard, so very light on the battle line, which is going against the grain somewhat, because usually we're seeing like min 60 battle line infantry in a lot of these lists. A single Dune Rider to probably carry the Vanguard, 3x2 Ballistari, so maximum Ballistari, 6 Breaches to be the kind of stable core bully unit.
Can I jump in for a second too?
Yeah, sure.
Even if you include like a single vehicle in your list, doesn't that prevent you from having to free cycle one of the cards that you draw?
Correct.
So, I mean, I know it has utility in this, but there may be like an extra little bit of a, gotcha, when you're talking about Pariah Nexus management.
Exactly right. So people are starting to identify the interplay between some of these card draws, because now the Pariah Nexus deck is so judicious that if you draw a card and you can't score it, you just immediately cycle and draw again. Mind you, if you take a single unit of 20 models, they can't cycle Cull the Horde when they get it. Even if that unit is ungettable, it's at the back of the freaking board.
Could be in reserve.
Or in reserve. They can't free cycle and they have to take a dead draw, which is actually quite juicy. I did want to get up the enhancements here, but after I run you through the rest of the list.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped in there. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, after the 6 Breaches, we have 10-5-5 Sterilizers, so Birdie Boys, and then 10-5-5 Skystalkers, more Birdie Boys. That's 6 units of Birdie lads, and then 5 Infiltrators.
That's more than we've seen recently, because people are taking a couple units here and then like that's it. But now our couple max units. Now this is 6 units of alternate deployment and potentially fast moving things.
Agreed. The enhancements here, the Peerless Eradicator is giving sustained hits 1 to the unit that they join. That'll almost definitely be joining the Breaches. And then the Autoclavic Denunciator on the Manipulus just soups up their gun to be Anti-Infantry 2+ and Anti-Monster 4+. So it gives them a lot of really juicy play, and kind of makes them function a bit like an Infernal Master, because I believe they've got a powerful Flamer weapon. So yeah, I really like where this list is going. I did need to have a look at the Birdies, the Sterilizers and the Skystalkers, because I haven't seen them taken in these numbers before. Dustin, have you had any experience with these?
I have had experience with them. Yeah, the Sterilizers are the Flamer ones that are re-rolling. They're basically the same as my Pan Flamers, so like except they can shoot and scoot, I believe, and they have just re-roll all wounds with their Flamers on objectives. So they're fast. They can clear chaff really easily, and they can block movement really easily. Like they're just like those wing units for Admech are incredible for move blocking, and he has so many things in here to control his opponent's movements. Yeah, I love it too.
The Skystalkers, which is the one we don't see very often, they have because they do a little bit less damage. They got the Flechette. They're more like the Infiltrators. They got Flechette blasters and Taser Goads. So they do really smash low armor save models, but they have shoot and scoot. So they can make a normal move of 6 after shooting, or they can move 12 if they end that move within, I think it's 6 inches of a battle line unit. So, you can move and advance up the Dune Rider, you can move the Dune Rider, disembark and get out the unit of Vanguard or Rangers, and then, deep strike, shoot, move 12 off the Skystalkers. So really good for I guess put people in bird jail, zoning off portions of the board.
There's all kinds of jail.
And
there's a whole movie about that. I think,
it's the birds. The issue being a lot of the time, what I'm seeing right now is Mechanicus army struggling with people getting aggressive on it, putting them under pressure, because they have things like Breaches and things like Ballistari that, whilst they are very, very well pointed, very good units, they're logistically difficult to wield in a lot of situations. Of course, you can give them Assault now with the new Doctriners, so that makes them a little bit more juicy. But Breaches need time to get into the premium positions on the table. They don't move very quickly, and so it's going to use the Birdie Boys to hold board, to work the Breaches up the board and get the Ballistari into the firing lanes. I think it's really well crafted here by Manuel.
Yep. Oh, come on. Take a shot at the last name. Vitsorek.
No.
Vitsorek. You can do it.
Vitsorek.
That was nice.
I think that was close.
That was good. All right, we'll take it.
next list to talk about, naturally, I had to look at a bunch of different ones. I had to look at a bunch of the Dark Angels list. I had to look at every Dark Angels list. I had to look at every Tau list. I had to look at every Necron list, every
You were
Tyrion
taking
list.
notes for your own Dark Angel list. Like, was
Yeah,
there
you were.
anything that jumped out at you?
The boons of doing the back end of the
Yeah,
show.
yeah. No shame in that.
You
That was not an attack. I was just like, did you see anything that was spicy
Yeah.
for you?
Did I do my job this week? My finger is on the pulse. The next one is Dennis Gottschalk. Dustin can tell me if I did that correctly.
We'll do it at the end.
Playing Grey Knights. And I just wanted to point out that this list is still in existence and can still just run you over. So this is a Drago, a Grandmaster Dread Knight, 5 Terminators, 5 Strikes, a single Land Raider Redeemer, 3 Dread Knights, and Canis freaking Rex, who now goes
Canis
to
Rex, the Knight Imperial Knight with like a ton of special abilities, and
a lot of people seems to have forgotten that this list was a thing, thinking that the nerfs or the points changes in the Minotaur Field Manual was enough to make this unpalatable. It essentially lost 1 Dread Knight. Usually it was a second Grandmaster Dread Knight, and that's it. It just you put in 5 strikes instead, and off to the races you go. Drago coming back into this is really cute as well, because a lot of the time what people will do is that they will hide behind a big L, and then they will buffer the back of the L with some.
You're talking about a piece of terrain, a staging area. Yeah. They'll hang out behind that.
Yeah. So they'll buffer that piece with a unit they don't care about you losing, and then they'll hold ground for, say, their big Terminator, their big hammer unit, so that you can't get a bunch of Dread Knights in range of it. And then, of course, with the new rulings where you can't charge through the walls and stuff if you're 1.1 inches away, it kind of stops Canis from doing a lot of the stuff if you can't land his base. But where this comes in is it'll just bomb Drago in and go for a 3d6 charge and clear the whole lot out without having to worry about getting lines of sight. It'll just go do the punching. And I think Drago, it adds an X factor with the Terminators. I love that it's not 10 Terminators. I actually prefer the 5 Terminators now. We did see 10 in a couple of different teams lists. But yeah, I really like this list by Dennis. And if anybody thought this wasn't something they still had to consider, watch out. This list will run you over.
Yeah, I actually like this. I like the addition of Canis to it instead of
yeah.
And it still has the Redeemer too. That's just...
Well, exactly right. The Redeemer or Canis go into the middle turn one.
Yeah.
Usually Canis will probably stage, a Redeemer goes out, and then you have to respond. Like, you have to bring out your best units and expose them to Canis and Dread Knights in order to kill the Redeemer. And it just puts you in like a check situation. Not quite checkmate, because it's turn 1 or turn 2, but it's like, you must respond or I win. And you gotta kind of take the bull by the horns and send it on this list. Otherwise, it is just going to piece you apart.
Yeah, it's true. All right, go ahead, Adam. Last name.
What?
Last name.
The last name?
Yeah.
I said it.
What did you say?
I said Gottschalk. Gottschalk.
Really?
See?
Pretty
I'm
good.
getting there. I'm learning.
You're getting there.
I'm
All right.
learning.
You're picking it up.
It's all right. We'll do it. I'm going to roll a dice for who gets picked
So
first pick.
if you're new here, what we do is we predict who we think is going to win, which faction we think is going to win the event. Not necessarily of the players that we've highlighted, but any faction in attendance. We're going to see who gets to pick. That's what you're rolling the die for right now.
Well, I'm not even going to roll the die, because I have 50 dice in my dice tray, and I picked a Canadian dice. I picked a Canadian 2023.
Okay.
So Dustin picks first.
Yeah, you did. Oh man,
it's not going to help y'all this month.
It really doesn't. It makes it easier if you guys pick first. You know what? I have been recently playing against this AdMech list, and I'm going to go with AdMech in this one, because that's
a good pick.
Yeah, that is a
Paul, you want to go second?
Sure. Yeah, I will. You know what I want to pick.
I do, but they're actually not in big numbers here.
Yeah, but still,
Paul.
In the spirit of competition, I will say Astra Militarum.
Good man. Yeah, don't take my pick of Dark Angels.
So what we're talking about is we actually see we're running total where we score ourselves on points, and we talk about it on the second part of the show, which is available to Patreon subscribers 2 and above. Every tier is great, by the way. We really appreciate the support over there. But we do a little after show where we look back and talk about the players that actually won the event, and we pull out a couple of lists that excite us about those high place finishers, and it's fun to talk about that on the other side of the meta chasing, that is the meta executing.
Yes, the meta executing. the meta firing squad. So to speak. But yeah, it is a lot of fun. If you're at all interested, please jump over to the second tier over on our Patreon. There should be the links all over the screen right now if you're watching us live. If not, that is Warhammer Meta Chasers over on Patreon. Jump in, join the fun. It is a lot of fun. And this show, I do four podcasts a week generally. Dustin does just as many. Paul works his absolute butt off, and this show takes us more effort than most of our other shows combined. So we love doing this show. We wouldn't be doing it into well into our third year if we didn't. But if you're able to support us, we would appreciate it.
Next event we're going to talk about is the Lone Star Open. That is in Dallas, Texas, 234 players, 6-round event. Dustin, would you mind telling us what we're going to see there?
I love doing it. There are 10 Stitches of Battle, 10 Custodes, 3 AdMech, 15 Astra Militarum, 4 Grey Knights, and 7 Imperial Knights, Space Rangers, 10 Adeptus Astartes, 9 Dark Angels, 10 Space Wolves, 9 Blood Angels, 4 Black Templar. That is a crazy spread on Space Marines in those.
A wild spread.
Chaos, there's 16 Chaos Space Marines, 16 Suns, 9 Death Guard, 13 World Eaters, 8 Demons, and 15 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 13 Necrons, 17 Orcs. That doesn't surprise me as much, actually. 12 Tau, 4 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 13 Tyranids, 4 Gene Stealer Call. My God, Lone Star is just killing it. Hive Mind, even with 4 Gene Stealer Call, that's crazy. And then Eldari, there's 2 Drukhari and 8 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Orcs topping it off with 17. Chaos Space Marines close behind them with 16. Chaos Knights and Astra Militarum tied in third with 15. And then we have Tyranids, Necrons, and World Eaters with 13. And Tau right behind them with 12. That's wow.
Before we dive too deep into this, even with fields like this, what we've seen in the top 10 have been basically like a list of singletons over the last couple of weeks of where the top 10 has been incredibly diverse with 8 to 10 different factions in the top 10 at events like this, and it's been out of control. That speaks to the health of Pride Nexus. It speaks to the skill of players, and speaks a bit to the maturity of the edition, which is fun to see. But before we get too deep into that, I want to point out that even with those big numbers, it's been very diverse there at the top of the field.
Well, no one hitting 10%. There's no faction hit 10% of this field, which is stupendous. That's really good to see. That's really healthy. Orcs being high and Astra Militarum being high, as pointed out in chat, there is a lot of US Army esports team in attendance here. I think this is somewhat of an event celebrating their participation and their contributions to the community. So plenty of Treadheads and War Maniacs, which is fantastic to see. The rest of the podium, though, I'm actually surprised to see Chaos Space Marines get such high numbers. They have been trending down a little bit since 10.5, since all the changes, but not by much. But I would have been happy to see them in the top 5, but not in second. Actually, it's quite good to see.
I think Forge Fiends pair well into everything.
And Vindicators, exactly right. Forge Fiends, Vindicators can't go wrong. Like slap them down. Even the Predators, they're really strong at the moment, especially Renegade Raiders, which is going to be in one of the lists we unpack.
Well, how about that?
I did not look forward to any of that. Or sorry, I didn't look ahead of any of that.
That was a beautiful layout. That was an alley-oop.
Play super well into things. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what they got.
Me too. Chaos Knights is a surprise for the United States. Chaos Knights is something I usually associate with the Australian meta and or certain regions in Europe. I have not seen really big Chaos Knight numbers out of North America for some time, at least not that I can recall. But this is a very high proportion there. Do you guys think that they line up especially well into this meta?
I think they're actually really good into a lot of the lists out there. They've always, this edition, I think, historically have been really good into like the top contenders, and they struggle with the mid-tier lists. That's why they were really popular in teams. The changes they got recently, they may have it's time to bring them out and give another run for it. I think they could top tournaments for sure. Just
looking at this, I've played Chaos Knights for quite a few events this year. I love Chaos Knights into Orcs. I rate Chaos Knights into Orcs. I think they're a coin flip into Chaos Space Marines, depending on their detachment, depends on the mission, stuff like that. But it's a very close game. Astra Militarum is one where I personally back the Astra Militarum to win that if they have an appropriate build. And I do like Chaos Knights into Tyranids, into Crons, and into World Eaters. So that is fair. Although the Tyranid one is getting
like a bunch of War Dogs? Like a bunch of the Mini Knights?
I love the single Rampager, 10 War Dogs is what I love at the moment. The Rampager just scares people, man. And the best thing you can do is get the Rampager like out of line of sight in the middle of the board and then not use them. And then watch people just be like, huh? I can't send on you until you send a rampage. I'm like, I ain't sending nothing. You can have this carnivore and this brigand, and the rampage is going to stand right there.
It's
Terrifying.
actually funny that you're bringing up that you think Chaos Knights are good into the Tyranids, because that explains a lot of why I keep saying all these Tyranid players start to bring Rupture Cannons and all their Tyrannifexes. Like, oh, so you're just afraid.
Yeah.
Zone Throops, you just take them in every list now. They're just so
correct.
With that Neuro Tyrannid. Oh my God, they're so good. But all these Rupture Cannons, like, okay, they want to fight Knights. They're afraid of Knights. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, very surprising. Tau numbers also are taken very good. I think Tau is so much better than the internet, apparently, because I'm terrified of Tau. With every army I play, really don't want to see Tau. It's always a hard game. They just give everyone hard games. Not necessarily always winning, but they're just really, really good lists, and the players right now are getting very strong with them.
The Tau shock factor of the change has now started to wear off from the generals, and they're just taking mean units now.
It's a list that has no fat anymore. Like, people used to be taking a single unit of 20 crude or a single unit of Vespid, but there's no fat. It's just breaches, pathfinders, stealth suits, and then just essentially battle tanks for the rest of it. Be it a Riptide, a walking battle tank, a Skyray, a missile battle tank, or a Hammerhead, actual battle tank. And it just blows you up while also having like infinity value units. It's really, really cool. Anyway, I've got 2 lists for your viewing pleasure. The first of which is Justin Moore, who is ranked at #1 in the USA right now in the ITC. He's also, I believe, top 5 in the world. He's got a Necron list of Hypercrypt Legion, and we're seeing this popping up a lot more also. Royal Warden with Dimensional Overseer, so one additional to be placed back into reserve. The Silent King, a single Canoptic Spider, triple Deathmark squads, 3x5, 2 Doomsday Arcs, 3x1 destroyers, Locust Destroyers, just do all your actions and little bits and pieces, and then still 2 monoliths. So this is
2
Daka.
monoliths?
Daka, man. Daka. This feels to me like the Necron version of Ironstorm.
As close as it can be, yeah.
Yeah. So 5 premium shooting units, all coming with an associated period of instance of extra durability above contemporaries, like Doomsday Arcs getting a invuln save, etc. The monolith just being high toughness with jank, with melee for some reason, and the Silent King tying it all together with a bunch of different buffs for ignoring modifiers, and also being a multi-phasal threat in and of himself. And then you got, 3 into death marks and 3 single destroyers to make sure the top of the deck is good to you and you can get most of the cards that you score. I like this list a lot. The Royal Warden is an interesting one because what is he, joining death marks, or is he just playing as a solo? As in, like, when I get behind enemy lines, he's behind enemy lines for me because he's a small
can
base.
he join?
Yeah,
Immortals?
I'll quickly have a look.
Immortals.
I would assume it was Immortals and Warriors. Yeah. So I'm actually not 100%
actually,
sure.
Yeah, I think he can join Lichguard as well, but I'm pretty sure he can't join anything in this list.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can't join the death marks. I thought the death marks could only be joined by Lords and Cryptex, but we may be incorrect. We will wait to see as that loads. But gentlemen, is this a list that scares you? Is this a list that you think is going to shake up the meta?
It's a list that you have to play once or twice to actually understand what it's going to do to you.
That's right. Newcomers to Hypercrypt and newcomers to this much redeploying lethality will find it a pretty steep learning curve.
That's a great point.
A great thing to point out here, it's completely Catan free.
Yep.
No Catan. And I suppose that's you can't have 2 monoliths in a Catan and 2 Catan, right?
You can. It's just you lose everything else.
There's nothing else in your list. That's it. You're all done. Quickly going to the Royal Warden. Have a gaze. Can join Immortals and Necron Warriors. Yep, cannot join anything in this list. Will pretty much be running solo as a thing in Strat Reserve, and then coming on to get an engagement all fronts or do a containment action. Or
is that the extra bringing something up, or is okay?
It's one more into reserve.
I mean, he'll just be an action monkey then. That's all it needs to be.
Well, every turn it can be. I'm assuming for the sake of logistics, because it is so difficult on any table. To deploy 2 DDAs, 2 monoliths, and the Silent King without being blown up turn 1. If your opponent has like a couple of, las cannon chickens. So I'm assuming at least 1 monolith, possibly even both, are going into reserve turn 1. Starting the game in reserve. Because of course you want turn 1 to be able to, use the Silent King and DDAs to, especially if you go first on the top of turn 2, you just chuck down double monolith, double DDA Silent King on a flank, and that flank is just gone. If they don't blow it up, what they kill, what they leave, will not be able to account for what is there. There are so few units that one shot a monolith. Like I've had the fire doctrine, devastator doctrine, eradicator unit, like with Calgar, shoot and charge a monolith and not kill it, and I'll just be like, what is my life? Please let me do anything else right now. Yeah,
we have another list from this event.
We do. Russell Tassin, Chaos Space Marine expert, and with Chaos Space Marines being relatively high, very in second place. Once again,
no Forge Fiends here. You got the Predators instead.
So this is Russell's flavor. Russell has not actually adjusted his list that much from pre-Codex to now. So he's pretty much just playing the same stuff, and he's putting up really good results, I think, and that's one of the reasons why. But I looked through every Chaos Space Marine list. I looked through every Orc list. I looked through every Tau list. I seriously looked through 30 lists out of this 200-player event. And I came back to this, because I wanted to showcase something that is just still in the meta that you still have to account for, especially seeing as Chaos Space Marines were second in the faction breakdown. So Renegade Raiders Detachment, Abaddon, 3 Chaos Lords, just 3 Chaos Lords, 10 Cultists, 4x5 Legionaries, 2 Rhinos, 2x3 Chaos Bikers, 3 Predator Destructors, 5 Terminators, and a Hellbrute. Because this guy loves his Hellbrute. I don't like Hellbrute.
The Hellbrute gives a really nice buff, doesn't it?
Well, double packed. So
yeah, that's what. Yeah,
he rocks around with the Predator Destructors, giving them all lethal and sustained all the time.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I still don't love it. I would much rather, I don't know, something else. But that's just me. I don't know.
Let's go. You don't know anything about this.
Let's go 120. Take your guess. Take your punts, boys.
I'll say 110.
The points for Hellbrute?
Hellbrute. We got 110. We got 120. What would you like?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 95 points.
95. I reckon it's more. I reckon it's actually more than 120.
Probably like 170 or 160.
But yeah, so the 3 Predator Destructors in the Hellbrute run is a bit of a squadron there. And what I really, really, really like here is no Chosen. The Chaos Lords join the Legionaries and mean that the Legionaries, fighting over objectives, clear everything, because of course you'll have the reels to hit and wound, and the once per game, Chaos Lord going Super Saiyan. So. But really, really, really cool to not see the Chosen in here, because he saved a bunch of points for the utility units and, getting the Terminators for Abaddon. I still think Abaddon is an absolute baller, by the way. 130 for a Hellbrute.
130. Yeah.
That's why I don't like it.
Close that I'm going over.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a very good list. It's very lean. Russell has been playing a similar archetype. I think he's played the triple pred Hellbrute combination for like the last year. So he's very good.
It ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, that's
exactly right. And on Renegade Raiders, they get an extra AP again. So shooting on objectives, they're going to be extra AP with possible other buffs, and other strats, with lethal, sustained, and another extra AP if they're infantry. So this is a really, really cute combination. I like this fire base a lot. I think it's pretty tidy, pretty neat. It is low footprint as well compared to a lot of other similar armament.
It does seem a little lean.
Yeah, it's nice. The 4x5 Legionaries actually turn out to be really punchy. I don't know if anybody's been on the receiving end of, Legionaries charging you when you're on an objective and they get all the rerolls and all the nonsense and stuff. But then add a Chaos Lord into that, who can just decide to have dev wounds and put like 9 mortal wounds on you at the drop of a hat, which is not unusual with rerolls to wound. Yeah, I like this package a lot. I think it's really good, and Russell's going to do very well at this event, as he always does.
Nice. So what's going to win this thing? What faction?
Well, let me see if I can pick another dice. I'm just going to roll a 50. I'm going to roll a 50-50. 1, 2, 3. Paul picks first. 4, 5, 6. I pick first. Paul picks first. It's a 1. I rolled a 1.
Blood Angels.
Blood Angels for Paul. I
have to enjoy this time in the sun.
I'm a back my man Russell. I'm going to go CSM.
But at the same time, what we talk about on this show and others like it is that people know what the dominant lists are, and so they have the opportunity to answer that with their list choices. And so it is going to be probably a little bit different this week, but we'll see what happens.
Dusty Boy, what would you like?
I'll take the Necrons.
I think that's a safe pick. I was seriously considering taking guard and or orcs, because there's just so many orcs and some very strong orc specialists in tow. But there's strong specialists for every faction, so I don't know if there's a wrong choice.
This is
right
a
now.
crapshoot. Like let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But if you're tracking it in part 2, in our part 2s, and tracking our points so far, the way the points work, if you guess the first place finisher, you get 3 points. Second place is 2 points. Third place is 1 point. If none of us have guessed the podium, the next person whose faction shows up in the top 10 gets 1 point. If we haven't picked a faction in the top 10, we get nothing. We fail. We need to chase the meta harder. But right now, let's just say 2 of us are treading water, and 1 of us is absolutely deep cannon annihilating on the points.
Roll a 6.
I don't know who that is. You'll have to join in for part 2 to find out.
We don't know.
Annihilating it.
Do we have another segment for this show?
We got time.
We got time for some Fuego.
We got time. Oh, look. So, look, this is where the part of the show where we would normally talk about a sponsor. Like, yo, if you like this show, please support this folks that support us. But in lieu of that, right now, we'll just say, just go check us out on Patreon, or like, share, subscribe, and do all that kind of stuff. That's a way to support the show. It means a whole lot to us if you do. The next segment we're going to do is a segment that has very little to do with 40K most of the time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. We give ourselves a series of topics with a segment we call the Fuego Rapido, where we give ourselves a series of topics where we run down on a clock. And once that clock is over, we abandon the topic, never to return to it again, unless the Patreon subscribers suggest it.
So we haven't actually done one that is 40K related in a while, so I think it was time to do that. We're going to do the 40K one today.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
The best of the best 40K competitive edition. Okay. This should be fun.
Let's do it. Number 1. The best unit to hold the home objective. And I mean in the game.
In the game to hold the home objective. Best unit to hold the home objective.
There's a lot to consider here.
Mm-hmm.
There's cost, utility, like just the amount of wounds you can get for the points.
Can I answer while you're stalling?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. I was absolutely stalling. Absolutely. I've got like 5 kicking around in my head right now.
Typhus with Death Route Terminators.
Whoa, that is an investment. Oh. Jeez.
It's like 400 points.
No, it's not. Typhus is 80 points.
That is an investment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Typhus is 80 points.
Why just Typhus by himself?
So good.
Yeah, Typhus by himself would be a little suspect.
Well, because that's when my brain went. My brain went with, like, what's the cheapest Eldari character I could put the Phoenix gem on? So you have to kill it twice.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Has to be the cheapest possible one, though, because you can do it with Fugue and all those guys, but they're quite pricey, and they've got better things to be doing than sitting your home objective.
Yeah.
So,
see, I've got
Plague Bears. You go.
Mine's easy. It actually drives me nuts that some people don't take them anymore. But honestly, Biovore.
Yeah,
literally sits on your objective and then still can give you secondaries and zone the board from here with a fat base. It's just 50 points now too. Like, they're just incredible.
I'm going to throw out the Ghost Keel.
Whoa, that's an expensive one too.
Ghost Keel's
expensive
great
for what it is, but it has
what's its OC?
2 blanks. I think it's OC3, maybe OC2.
Okay.
It's got 3 blanks. Its base is big enough to zone out the entire objective from 3-inch deep strike, and nothing that you can charge. Like, no unit of 5 scouts is going to take a Ghost Kill off an objective.
Yeah, I do like the Infiltrators too, Dorian. Infiltrators is a good answer as well.
My next one is just Gretchen. They're just the cheapest, most nonsense unit. They generate you
CP,
bits and pieces of points and value, and they're just, who cares?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. A great unclean one thrown out there at the last.
As large as the objective is.
Yeah. There's no objective. It's just a great unclean one in the back line. All right, next
point for point. Yep.
Yeah. Next up, the best unit for turn 1 aggression if you go first. Oops.
10 Sword Brethren with a Judicia in Vanguard with Infiltrate.
Whoa. Hardcore.
That's pretty good. I don't have a better one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But arguably there is better, because I just laid out like a five thing combo, and the rest of the list has nothing. Beast Pack thrown out.
Beast Pack.
So Beast Pack.
Yep.
I would like to make a delineation. I do not believe the Beast Pack is an aggressive unit. It's a control unit.
Okay.
So if we're looking for aggression, I'm not sure it's the Beast Pack.
That's fair. I do like that delineation. So, but in terms of control, absolutely Beast Pack. Yeah, that's
oh yeah, absolutely.
Something from Gold Eaters?
six exalted 8-bound.
Yeah, that could be a good one too.
With of course you'd have to have a Lord Invocatus
Yeah.
Well,
for the scout.
Yeah.
That's a very good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay.
Ruststalkers are up there now too.
Are they? Really?
20 average 27-inch threat range.
You
turn
put
one.
them in the same conversation as
No,
yeah, I was
but
gonna say.
they weren't even mentionable before, so I wanted to give them an honorable mention now. But I don't think they're the best.
Okay.
I think you
I'm
hit
actually
on the
looking at all of the. I'm thinking of a lot of marine stuff. That's
Yeah, I mean, you could say Thunderbolts, but they're so logistically awkward due to like they're so table dependent that they can just be blocked off. That I couldn't say them. Yeah, Exalted 8-bound is kind of I think where I'm gonna say.
Yeah, the Exalted 8-bound I think is actually probably the best. Because
it's the same thing as the Thunderbolts, but it goes through walls. Like it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But see, I mean, they can be overwatched, I guess, a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true. They're a bit more susceptible to
I think the
Overwatch.
first thing you said, it's got my pick. I
Alright,
have
brother,
nothing.
yeah,
I mean, nothing to refute that. I'm
true.
picking apart those two units.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Next one. The best unit to hold the middle objective that is in the open.
That's a Ghost Keel.
Ghost Keel is up there for sure.
Yeah.
I want to throw out the Redeemer, the Land Raider Redeemer, as an option. It has gone up in points, a little bit less palatable, but for 285, just chuck it on the middle objective with AOC and smoke. It's a very annoying. As a throw out for the Norn there, Dustin. What do you think?
Norn, I actually love the Norn for that. And I'm talking about the emissary, not the simulator. So we're talking about obviously you're picking the middle objective for this. So he's going to have a 15 OC, 5 up Feel No Pain, 4 up Invuln, 2 up Save, and 4 up the Mortal Wounds. Like that's pretty good.
That's a lot.
I actually rate in this current meta right now with the missions, I actually rate having at least one Norn in a tiered list very highly right now, specifically because of a lot of the mission play that they bring to you.
Just going to throw out a different option. Because it's not one unit. It's hard, so it's probably not to be considered. But any transport that can carry 2 units of 2 OC. So like a Rhino, or a Rhino equivalent with 2x5.
So you're saying a unit enabler is your
pick? I think that is better than everything we threw out. Like 3 units that are cheap and disposable with high OC are better than any one unit just to chuck out on an objective turn 1. But I don't think it qualifies for the question.
Well, it doesn't for a couple of reasons though. Because if you're talking about the transport, then they don't need to kill it; they just out OC it.
Yeah, exactly right. But if they do kill it, they have to have a 3 unit. They have to have a 3-unit solution,
or they just wrap it really well and kill it.
Yeah, I mean the Sagittar came to mind as one, just because it is possibly the best transport in the game at the
well, I mean, if you're talking about that kind of stuff, like you could stuff a lot of stuff in a Land Raider. So have a Land Raider with stuff in it.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul.
So somebody forgot about the Falcon.
Oh yeah, the Falcon.
The Falcon.
It's fair.
All right.
Tough for best transports. It's people forget the Falcon is a transport.
It's true, and then they come in with Fire Dragons, and you remember very quickly.
Look, it's probably literally, it was said in the previous one, a great unclaimed one with endless gifts.
That's
probably the best thing.
To be honest, that's actually really good.
It's probably the best thing in the game.
Reduces your stuff.
It's the higher. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be down with that one. We'll go with that. The best unit to steal your opponent's home objective out of nowhere.
You just put this in because it's one thing the GSC can still do, right?
No.
Honestly,
they definitely can't do that. One detachment, maybe, but
you still got 3-inch deep strike.
Only one detachment.
Well, to steal, so you have to have a chappy with them, right? Otherwise, they don't steal it. They just leave a bloody smear.
Yeah,
I know a 0OC, right? It's true.
Sure. Okay, I was saying Death Company with Lamartine specifically.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that makes it much. Yep. Okay.
What can do it really tricksy? I'm trying to think of high OC units with 3-inch deep strike, or things that are just extremely fast.
Gargoyles can shoot and scoot onto it. 2 OC each. Yep,
that's fair. They're a good one. I'm trying to focus on the out of nowhere portion of this because I think Paul's won it with the Death Company unit because But
But they're
yeah,
still
the out of nowhere.
subjected to the charge roll, but
20 Necron warriors in Hypercrypt with 3-inch deep strike.
Yeah, actually, the Hypercrypt Necrons might take the cake on this one because of that.
Although Grey Knights have a 3-inch deep strike as well, but they don't usually wield the high OC
usually
units.
have the big OC. I was going to say like the Trigon because it is a based 3-inch deep strike as well, but its OC is only 4 and Crusher's 6 when it comes in. So I mean, it's not usually when things are holding the back objective. It's not going to out OC them usually. Moloch doesn't have the 3-inch deep strike, unfortunately, Dorian. Just the Trigon.
Best. I'm focusing on the best.
Best.
Here.
Yeah. What is the best? What can come in and get a plus to charge, reliably charge to take you off the objective?
Reliably charge. Like the Grey Knights with their
with Drago.
With the
3d6.
Plus 3 to charge. I think that's probably going to be it. So come in with Terminator. I can't remember what the Terminators. I think it's still OC 1.
You can make them OC 3, I believe, because I think they're 2, and then you take the Ancient, and they go to 3.
There you go. It's Grey Knights then.
Yeah, Grey Knights with the Drago and the Terminators. Because even if you can 3-inch deep strike and take it, you can. Otherwise, you can charge them.
Talking about 700 points, but
hey,
you just
we're talking about the best unit. We didn't see the cheapest.
But they're going to get you. Yeah, they're going to get you a bunch of points if that's what your objective is there, around.
Yeah. All right, and then last but not least, point for point, the most valuable model in the game right now.
Ooh, this is good. This is very good.
Point.
I'm going to throw out Azrael.
Whoa.
Chapter Master of the First Legion.
I'd never see him.
I love it how you clarified his full title and position.
Yeah. Keeper of Secrets.
There's no way he's
Master of the Inner Circle.
What the? No, you're wrong.
110 points. Yeah. Extra OC. Gives 4-up invuln to a unit. Gives sustained hits to a unit. Is a monster in combat.
So why isn't he in every list?
He is in every list. Azrael's in every list.
No, he's not. He's not in any Space Marine list. It's not Dark Angels.
Well, it's because you can't.
Yeah, but if he's that good, wouldn't you want to be the Dark Angels instead?
Seriously, people were like, when you could take Ironstorm anything, what did they take? When you could take, so many people literally, when the points went up on the Black Templars ones, they took vanilla and they were like, we could be anything right now. We might as well be Dark Angels because Azrael's busted.
I just want to interject here that the Apothecary is 50 points.
Yeah, that's a good call. It gets a freaking jump pack, dude. Why does your Apothecary get a jump pack? I can't even have one on a bike. Like, you get a jump pack. Yeah.
Well, I just made the regular old Space Marine Apothecary is 50 points.
I'd like to throw out one for Dustin, the Kelamorph right now.
Calamorph,
like the shining light of value.
There's 3 Calamorphs in every one of my GSC lists. They are incredible right now. Absolutely,
they do
incredible.
It all.
They do everything you need them to do, and they're so good, so cheap.
We mentioned earlier the type is only 80 points, but also Dante is 120 points.
I think we're getting, and I blame myself for this. We're getting somewhat sidetracked. By special characters. I'd like to throw out some of the best battle line units in the game. Plague Marine is up there for one of the best.
I'm putting
models.
Gargoyles back in there.
Exactly, Gargoyles. Rubric Marines is another one we need to mention because they are just the everything all the time, ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, we could that could have been that could be a whole that whole episode.
It's another podcast.
It's another one, yeah. But that is it for this week.
I didn't even mention Canis Rex. Didn't even get to mention Canis freaking Rex.
Because he's so many points.
You started with Azrael and you just went downhill from there.
Shush.
Well, that is our show this week, everybody. Look, I appreciate y'all hanging out live, watching the show, and appreciate you listening to After the Fact on the podcast aggregators. Please leave us those likes, share, subscribes in the comments as one of the things that kind of tricks the aggregators into letting other people come and hang out with us and listen to the show. It means a whole lot to us. Let us know what your picks for the tournaments coming up this week. Let us know if you're going to be participating in any big tournaments coming up over the coming weeks, because we want to feature your list and your efforts as well.
Didn't even mention the Triumph.
Oh, he's beating himself up now.
The cogs are turning. Cogs, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
No, so he's gonna
yeah.
come out, and there's gonna be a whole list of stuff in our Discord of things that he thinks point for point the best model in the game.
This one,
And
this
this
one,
one, and
wait,
this one.
this one. What about this one?
The fact that you have so many lists of models you can list as the best models is probably
good.
significant contributing to our diverse top 10s that we got from each one of
Mm.
these events. Will the events continue to be this diverse? Well, you got to tune in to find out. It has been a pleasure talking with y'all. It's been a pleasure hanging out with y'all live. We'll see y'all next week, everybody. Have a great night.
See ya.
Boy.